Okay, so have you ever had this happen? Like you're looking at a cookbook or even just scrolling online and you see this amazing dish
Yeah.
from another country and you're like, oh, that looks incredible.
Oh, like,
But then you get to the ingredients
right.
and you're just like, nope, I'm ordering takeout.
That's a really common thing. I think a lot of people feel that way. It's that mix of like being excited about a new food experience, but then kind of hitting a wall with the ingredients or the technique sounding too complicated.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like that's what yummy.world is trying to solve,
Yeah.
right? Making it easier to explore different cuisines at home.
Yeah, definitely. They're all about making global cooking less intimidating and more fun.
We've got their pitch deck here. Some early user reviews, even a sneak peek at their Kickstarter page. There's a lot to dig into. What jumped out at you when you were looking through all this?
Honestly, I think what's really interesting is how they're using technology to tap into this very human desire to try new things through food, and they're doing it in a way that feels really approachable and exciting. They seem to get that cooking can be an emotional thing for people, and they want to address that.
Totally. I noticed they talk a lot about those pain points we all experience in the kitchen. Complicated recipes, feeling stuck, making the same things over and over, even just giving up and ordering takeout because it feels easier.
Exactly. And the way they're tackling it visually is pretty clever. They've kind of gamified the whole experience.
Yeah, like how so?
It's like they took a page from those travel apps we're all glued to. Instead of endlessly scrolling through recipes, you're exploring cuisines visually on a map.
Oh, wow. Okay, I see what you mean.
So say you're in the mood for like a curry from Thailand, you can just zoom in on Bangkok on their map interface and see what catches your eye.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah.
It sounds way more engaging than just scrolling through recipe websites for hours on end. But what happens when you actually find a recipe you want to try? Are they speaking chef language, assuming, all this stuff?
Not at all. That's one of the things they emphasize, actually. They've gone above and beyond to make sure the recipes themselves are super clear and easy to follow. Clear instructions, easy to find ingredients, and they even have difficulty levels.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So if you're a beginner, you're not going to get stuck with a recipe that requires like 3 days and a culinary degree.
Exactly. You can start small and work your way up as you get more comfortable.
I like that. Because sometimes even a simple cheeseburger can feel intimidating if you're trying a new technique for the first time.
Right. And another thing is they have all this user feedback built
Oh,
in.
and like reviews and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Each recipe has reviews and ratings from people who have actually made it. So you're getting that real-life feedback, which I think is super helpful.
That's such a good point. You're not just relying on a pretty picture in a cookbook. You're seeing how it turned out for people like you.
Exactly.
It's like having a built-in test kitchen, right? Before you even start cooking.
Exactly. And they take that community aspect even further with some of their other features. Like they have this whole personalized menu system that I think is really cool.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember seeing that mentioned in their materials.
Yeah.
How does that work?
So like imagine you're having some friends over for a barbecue, right? Instead of everyone texting each other back and forth, like, hey, what are you bringing? Oh, I hope someone's making potato salad. That whole thing.
Yeah, definitely.
With yummy.world, you can actually create a shared menu on their platform.
Wait, so everyone coming to the barbecue can add their dish to this menu?
Yeah. And you can put in dietary restrictions, what kind of event it is. It just takes all the guesswork out of it.
That's so smart. And does it tie into that shopping list feature they mentioned?
It does. That's the other great part. So once you've got your recipes picked out or you're using that shared menu, the platform will actually generate a shopping list for you.
No more forgetting the one key ingredient.
Exactly. It even organizes your list by grocery store section, so you're not running all over the place.
Genius. That is a game changer. I can't tell you how many times.
Yeah.
But it's not just about avoiding those grocery store disasters, right? It's also about making everyone feel more comfortable trying new things and contributing to a meal.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it taps into that whole idea of food being a way to connect with people. Even if you're not all from the same culture or you haven't mastered every cooking technique, you can still share a meal and have that experience together.
So they're not just giving you the tools to cook. They're actually trying to build a community around food, which is really cool. So we've talked a lot about the recipe side of things, but I have to ask about this Tipsy Island I saw on their Kickstarter. What's the deal with that?
Yes, Tipsy Island. So that's their whole section dedicated to cocktails and drinks.
Okay, so it's not just about the food.
No, they're branching out. And it's the same idea, taking something that can feel kind of intimidating, like mixing cocktails, and making it more fun and accessible for everyone.
I like it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of cocktail recipes assume you have all this fancy equipment and obscure ingredients.
Yeah, and they break it all down. So you have your classic cocktail recipes, but then also some more unique drinks you might not have heard of.
Mm-hmm.
And like their food recipes, it's all laid out in a really clear way with difficulty levels, even suggestions for variations if you want to get creative.
So you could even level up your mixology skills through the platform.
Exactly. They even give recommendations for tools and glassware, which I thought was a nice touch.
Okay, I'm sold. But with all these new recipes, I'm discovering both food and drinks. How do I keep track of everything? Is there a way to save your favorites?
Yeah. So they have a favorites list, but it's more than just bookmarking recipes. You're basically creating your own digital cookbook.
Well, that's smart. So I could have a section for quick weeknight dinners, another for fancy date night meals, and then, of course, my Tipsy Island cocktails.
Exactly. You can organize it however you want, by cuisine, by occasion. It's really about making the platform your own.
That makes so much sense. It becomes this personalized hub for all your culinary adventures.
Uh-huh.
And speaking of adventures, their Kickstarter seems to hint at even more to come. So they've got the basics down, but they're ready to really level up. What are they hoping to do with this Kickstarter campaign?
Well, it sounds like they have some pretty big goals. They want to expand their recipe database even more, which makes sense. The more recipes they have, the more appealing the platform is, right?
Definitely.
And they're also talking about adding more language support. So people can explore cuisines from all over the world in their own language, which I think is fantastic.
It really makes it a global experience then, not just limited to English speakers.
Right, exactly. And then on top of all that, they're also planning to develop some new features based on feedback from early users.
Oh, cool. So they're really listening to what people want. It feels very community-driven.
Yeah, and I think that's smart because they're not just building a platform, they're building a community. And that's what's going to make it sustainable in the long run.
Absolutely. It's exciting to think about where they could take it. Like, imagine a world where technology helps us connect with different cultures through food in ways we never thought possible.
Exactly. It's like, what if instead of just ordering pad thai from the same place down the street, we could actually learn how to make it from someone in Thailand?
That would be incredible. Like having a virtual cooking class with someone on the other side of the world.
Right. And you could share your own recipes and traditions with them, too. It's about breaking down those barriers and realizing that food is something that connects us all.
I love that idea. It's like yummy.world is tapping into that human need for connection, but through the lens of food, which makes it even more powerful in a way.
Totally. Because food is such a personal thing. It's about family and tradition and culture. And when you share that with someone else, it creates a bond that's hard to replicate, even in the digital world.
I think you're right. It's like a reminder that even as technology advances, some things never lose their magic.
No.
Like the joy of cooking a delicious meal and sharing it with people you care about.
Exactly. It's timeless.
This has been fascinating. I'm definitely feeling inspired to get in the kitchen and try some new recipes now. How about you?
Oh, absolutely. My stomach's already rumbling. I might even have to break out the cocktail shaker later. Head to Tipsy Island.
Ah, I don't blame you.
Oh.
Well, if anyone else out there is feeling inspired to explore some new culinary adventures, be sure to check out yummy.world. We'll include a link to their Kickstarter in the show notes. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. It's been delicious.
Cheers to that.